I feel parts of me relate to Berlin somehow and to Egypt as well. I don't know if belonging is the word because now you're in between. Where do I actually belong?
Meet Mark, a software engineer who escaped Cairo's 25 million person chaos for Berlin's quiet streets. He wasn't actively job hunting abroad when a Berlin startup reached out to him, and within 2 months, he was living in Germany. But here's the twist. After 7 years in his ideal European life, he still can't handle German winters and admits he romanticized the whole experience. From working multiple jobs just to survive in Egypt, to getting laid off in Berlin and completely reshaping his relationship with work, Mark's journey reveals the hidden trade-offs of chasing the expat dream. My name is Nick Ang, your insider guide to expat life in Europe. Let's go!
There was no point that I actually decided to move. It's just maybe a bit of background. In Cairo, it's always a topic that everyone keeps talking about since high school and why it's better to move abroad and find a better life or something more stable, especially with the economy in Egypt. And yeah, it's in Cairo also it's a bit chaotic. Work environment is not as stable as, for example, in Germany or Europe. So everyone has this aspiration in mind since a young age. Most of my colleagues at university were thinking of moving after finishing studies. I think the moment I decided to do it was when I came to do my semester abroad in Berlin, which was my bachelor thesis. And I came and I lived here. It was like 6 months, so I thought, okay, maybe this is a good place to live. It's very stable. A lot of international people, people with different backgrounds, expat. So I think this is the turning point where it's like, I need to move after I finish graduation.
Was it a pretty big deal that you managed to get the Berlin exchange program when you were in Europe?
So I studied at the German university in Cairo, which was a private university which had also partnerships with universities here in Germany.
So now that you have gone to Berlin, you have seen what it's like and you liked it. What was the process like to get yourself actually here?
So I was actually not actively seeking to move. Once I came back, finished my studies, I started working at a small company in Cairo. Less than a year after graduation, I got reached out by a company in Berlin, a small startup.
Oh, they headhunted you.
Yeah. So I was approached by a recruiter here, and then I think in less than 2 months, I was already here somehow.
That's amazing. Like, what? Okay, and that was your first job out of uni.
I first job in Cairo was less than a year, and then I came here for my first job abroad.
In hindsight, do you think there's anything that you did right that attracted this opportunity?
I think it's just maybe the journey or what I had already experienced before because I lived in Berlin for a semester. It's like the path was being paved somehow in this direction.
Would you say there was any risks that you had to take to make this possible?
I wasn't thinking much about the risks.
Because you were young.
I was so young and yeah, let's just move somewhere new and experience, and it's gonna be a better life and more stable, more structured environments at work, which was something I was missing in Egypt. I guess I was idealizing the idea of living abroad.
You mentioned the word idealize. Do you think of it as a thing that is negative in this context, or do you think it has been mostly a positive for you?
At first, I mean, since I wasn't thinking about this whole move as a whole, I was thinking of it as a better life overall without its good and bad things.
You were thinking about all the good stuff about.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna be in this better position and not thinking about, okay, maybe there's other aspects that I wasn't thinking about at the time.
Actually, this segues really nicely into a question I was intending to ask you a bit later, but I'll ask you now. Now that you have lived in Germany for how long?
7 years?
7 years. Okay. After 7 years of living here, what's some things that Egypt does better than Germany?
Everyone in Egypt is pretty warm. This is probably like the main thing that I notice, and it shows up in everything, like also at work, or there's not so much structure. I mean, people perceive it as chaos, but it's just the not following the rules by the word.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, more spontaneous and more, yeah, warm and flexible with things. So this is something I feel I like about it.
It's a word that no one will use to describe Germans.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They can be warm, but it takes a very, very, very long time for you to get really close to them.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a very big part of who you are? And if so, do you feel like you belong here in Berlin?
Well, I feel parts of me relate to Berlin somehow and to Egypt as well. I don't know if belonging is the word I would use for this because now you're in between where do I actually belong? And I guess after 7 years, you relate to things from each place that you've lived in, but belonging means that's stronger for me.
Do you feel any sort of social isolation here?
Growing up in Egypt, you automatically have your whole family. You
Yes.
have all of your friends that you grew up with at school, university. So by default, you have people around you. Then I think moving here is, I need to start over again.
You're designing your social circle.
Yeah, which is also a lot of work that you actively need to shape it the way you see it. People with similar interests or activities. You have to actually go and find your circles rather than just being born with it, which is something at first I didn't see because I had friends from university moving at the same time. So it was,
To Berlin?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I had some people to kind of,
Fall back on.
yeah, you have someone here to talk to that you studied together, which was a good head start, I guess. And then afterward, for me, I was also trying to actively not depend on this because otherwise you wouldn't be able to make your circles in Berlin. So I actively try to put myself in places with people that I don't know or anything just to try to make my own circles.
What are some problems that you had to deal with because you're living abroad instead of at home?
Well, language is I mean, I'm still struggling with it until now. I can understand most of the things if someone speaks slowly, but I think when I actually try to speak German, it's like, okay, maybe I need more practice. But this happened recently. When I moved, I didn't take the time to learn it because anyway, my job didn't require German, so yeah. Maybe in hindsight, I would, yeah, maybe I'll find some other country with an easier language. Now you know the drill, how to start a new life in a new country, but still, it's a lot of effort it's something I'm considering still. What would it be to move somewhere else and start all over again? But it's quite intense, I would say.
Coming back to Berlin, now that you have lived here quite a while, what's something that you didn't really think about but now really matters to you after moving?
I think mostly it's something on my mind lately is how in Egypt, for example, you have a lot of people around you, a lot of friends. But when I moved here, maybe I think my perspective changed a bit now. It's kind of more selective, I would say, more constructive relationships in general with people.
Do you have actually Egyptian friends here?
Yeah,
Many or just a handful?
just a few, the ones that I used to study with,
Ah, yeah.
some other circle of friends as well from Egypt, but also international groups of friends and
Yeah. But like you said, you don't really want to fall back just to your old group of friends,
yeah.
right? You want to expand your social circle.
Now that I expanded it, I think it's also sometimes good to be able to speak your native language and then just like
I get that.
it's sometimes easier to just fall back to this and if you just want to, I don't know, feeling nostalgic or simply just want to speak Arabic or yeah.
Were there things that were pushing you out of Egypt besides the economy?
The economy was the big topic, but also the work environment, I would say. Maybe it's related. Changes super quickly and it's not as structured and you want to be profitable early. You have to deliver things quickly and then it's more chaotic. I think now when I go back and visit and talk to my friends, even though economy is not as good as it was before. People are trying to have more structure in their work-life balance. People work maybe one or two jobs to barely make a living in this economy.
But time is important to them, right? To spend time with family and friends.
Yeah,
That's why, yeah.
it's important. It's not the case that everyone has a good work-life balance because of the economy. And this is something I also didn't want because for me, when I stop working, I really want to stop working and not spending until the evening or night just working. Before moving here, for example, I had to do a couple of jobs at the same time to just get it going with my initial savings to be able to travel abroad. That's how much you need to work in order to just get money that you can save. not just survive, basically.
I see. Got it. Yeah, that would push me out of my country too, for sure. Um, how do you think your values and priorities have changed since you moved?
Since I got laid off from my job 2 years ago, it changed my perspective a bit and priorities. Work is just work. It's a means of living in the end. But beforehand, I think my perspective was focusing on career and like trying to jump on this career ladder thingy.
Mm.
But yeah,
So there was a ripple effect from being laid off as well.
yeah, definitely. It happened so fast that you think that, yeah, I'm doing this now, but like the next day I could be unemployed. The layoffs happened in 1 minute, and then the next minute you're not there, and you just need to reorganize or like reprioritize what's worth it for you as a person.
Can you describe people in Berlin in 3 words?
Different, ambitious, and can I do it in two?
Sure. I would not think of Berliners as ambitious. Can you tell me why you think they're ambitious?
I think since Berlin has a lot of international people, then it's probably people with similar backgrounds as both of us or expats in general. And it's usually the mindset is I'm trying to find a better life for myself or my family. So someone trying to actively leave everything behind and then go search for a better life somewhere else.
Strong aspirations.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I see that. Fair enough.
people move here with the mindset of no one is judging anyone and everyone is very open. So I think by default, it makes people more comfortable to be themselves.
So would you add free spirited to one of your 3 words describing Berlin?
Free spirited, that's a good one, yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say to people who are back home and maybe considering also moving to Berlin or somewhere else? First of all, would you recommend Berlin to them? And if not, what else?
I would recommend Berlin, but also I would recommend wherever it makes you thrive more. I knew I would not be able to thrive in the work environment in Egypt. That's why I moved. But also, one thing is that I mentioned in the beginning of idealizing a place. You go to a place, you take it as it is with the good and the bad things, and just you choose the set of problems that you're able to live with. It's not that it's gonna be a heaven here or in Egypt, but it's you choose your own kind of problems that you're willing to survive with. If you're moving somewhere, consider that you will encounter new problems that you haven't even imagined you would see before, and you will have to take decisions, but it just in the end you choose what you want to live with more, I would say.
When you're saying that, it reminds me of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which is a book by this guy called Mark Manson. And he says one of the most important skills you need to have in life is to pick the thing that you want to suffer for. Pick right and you'll be fine. Because everything is more or less suffering, which is a very Buddhist kind of way of thinking about life. I think you're absolutely right when you move to another place that it comes with its own set of new challenges. And it doesn't mean that it's always going to be very happy all the time.
Yeah, but on the account of other things that you gave up when you moved out, so it's like it's a trade-off. But yeah, you're right. And the set of problems you want to suffer is what you end up with. And I think maybe my mistake was to think of it as it's only gonna be a better jump. It's not gonna be a different jump, basically.
You thought of it as utopia, nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which tends to happen if you're in the middle of the situation in your hometown, and then, okay, this is something I'm aspiring for, and then you end up going there, and okay, that has its own things.
It's like when you are still back home and you're thinking of going out, all you can focus on are all the negative things about your home, and all you can see are the good things about outside, right?
And it happens the other way around once you move here. Sometimes you forget the bad things about a place that you don't live in, and then, oh, this was actually not bad. Maybe it's not so bad to live in Egypt after all. But then when you go back, okay, this is why I don't live here anymore.
Yes, yes.
But still, it's a decision you take every single day of living abroad that you want to live here. because I mean, you can simply decide to move back or move somewhere else.
Would you say there's any part of you that regrets having moved out?
No, I think I wouldn't be what I am now or the way I think now without having to move out. Not necessarily Berlin, but in general, the idea of moving out, it just makes you think or changes your perspective when you look at both places. So I don't regret any decision I make in general is just something you learn from. So
Mm. Yeah, you're more forward looking. You don't really look back too much in the rear view mirror.
I analyze things in the past and in retrospect or something to reflect on in the past,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily regret it because every decision that happened in the past makes you the way you think now. So regretting it means that if it didn't happen, then you wouldn't be with your current set of mindset or perspective. So
Do you know some people who maybe have thought of also leaving Egypt, but decided to stay and fight the good fight to make things better back at home? And what do you think about people like that?
yeah, in my circle, I had all sorts of people who wanted to stay and seek stability in Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
but also some other extremes that I don't want to have anything to do with Egypt. I think the people that decided to stay, the way they handle the problems or they handle the navigating life in general, Egypt worked for them, so that's why they decided to stay. Some
Mm-hmm.
people couldn't. We're 25 million people in Cairo, only Cairo. It's not the same opportunities for everyone, of course, but people that decide to stay in Egypt, they're just the way they work or the way they handle things is makes it work for them.
25 million people in the city moving to one of the largest cities in Germany
Which
is
is 4
pretty
million or something,
yeah,
Berlin. Yeah,
right? How has that changed for you?
it's like moving to a village, coming from 25 million, traffic jams, chaos, streets, sounds. It was all very high stimulating for me.
Yeah.
So moving here, it was actually the quieter city or the more, it's like a village basically. It's a small fraction of what I used to see, and with the traffic here is very organized. It's like makes you,
Mm.
or me for personally, I feel like I'm not overstimulated by just going on a walk in the street. So it's, I guess it's a matter of perspective at the end.
Would you recommend people go visit Cairo?
100%. There's a lot to see also, and people are friendly and warm, and most of my vacations are spent on Cairo or visiting family or
Mm.
visiting around Egypt also. So I would definitely recommend to visit. Chaos is good when you're looking at it as a tourist. It's truly like the city that never sleeps because you stay up until 4 in the morning and there's something to do everywhere. If
Yep.
you're a tourist, you will find something to do in the.
But people don't have to be worried about just how hectic it would be and overwhelming, right?
If you spend just some time in every place, so it's different levels. So it's not gonna be like all the time hectic, and there are some times where it can be a lot of stimulations around you.
Mhm.
But in the end, I think it's worth it. There's a lot to see as well, like with history and
Mhm.
culture as well.
Cool. What do you wish someone had told you before you moved?
I wish someone had told me, or I wish there's a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. It's like the thing that we were talking about, like that you value now because you're not there. I wish that someone had pointed this out to me as like, this is one of the things you'll be missing, or
Mm.
because when you're moving, it's like you're focusing on forwards, and then when you look back and like, okay, this is something I had and taken for granted. So yeah, for me, I think one of these things were like family. You start to value it more once you're away from it. So yeah, I got closer, for example, with my family when I moved away because you actively contact them,
Mm.
and when you go back like to visit, and you catch up with the meaningful things that you want to talk about, and it makes the connection more meaningful as well. You kind of cut everything, cut the crap, and then jump into the useful or the things that actually connect with them more. So yeah, take care of the weather because winter is hard here. At least for me, coming from a city where winter is 15 degrees or something. I didn't even know it was a thing until I had to go through it. Why am I feeling down and why don't I want to go out? And this feels weird. And then the people who moved before me, yeah, this is the winter. You will get used to it. And then 7 years later, I'm not used to it, but I'm trying.
It hit you the first year already, the first winter?
Yeah, find somewhere warm in winter or something.
I was thinking about that too, like go to Spain or Portugal.
Yeah, that's what I do I try to do every
Me too.
winter.
Me
Like
too.
at least go one or 2 months away somewhere that at least I see the sun like a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's ironic, no? You have grown up in the sun, basically. I'm also from the equator. It's all year round summer in Singapore. Coming here, I was looking forward to the winter. First 2 years, I did enjoy the winter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's
I didn't get any sort of mild depression or lack of sunlight didn't hurt me so much, which is
Mm.
very surprising, I guess, now that I'm hearing your story. But third year onwards, it's just, can we please get out of this? Let's go to Spain. Spend 3 months there. you know?
Yeah, just get this over with and come back when
Exactly.
it started to get sunny again.
Exactly. Mark, thank you for your time, for joining us, and for sharing your story with people.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time as well. Yeah. I hope it helps anyone
I'm sure it will.
at all.
Yeah.